What's going on, YouTube? It's Big Larry with 5 Out Productions, man. Hope y'all doing well today. This is episode 5. I'm going to talk about the 76ers and how bad of a position they're in right now. So, to start this off, Joel Embiid has played 18 games out of, I think, 55, I want to say, at this moment. Paul George has been playing 36 out of 55, but he's been terrible. Joel Embiid has also been putting up lower numbers than usual. He's usually in that 28 to 30 plus range for scoring. Right now he's under 25 points, bearing his injuries. So Joel Embiid has been injured this season to start this off. He hasn't been playing at all. When he has been playing, he's been slower than usual. I think his injuries, his whole life, his whole career, in combination with his age at the moment, I don't think he's going to be back to that prime MVP Joel Embiid we all know and love. I don't see him improving as he gets older. I don't see him now not having injuries. Now, when he gets that surgery, hopefully he's able to sustain himself. But he's had injuries, knees and shoulders. It's just everywhere. It kind of sparks an injury whenever he plays hard, things of that nature. It's always been a problem everywhere around his body. I'm just not sure if he's going to be able to sustain a healthy season, especially in the upcoming years within this window of his prime. And even in the playoffs, when he has been pretty relatively healthy for the regular season, when he gets to the playoffs, he always gets injured, loses games, misses games. And the strategy with the 76ers this offseason, past offseason, was acquire a star player and some bench depth. So when Joel Embiid is out, you're not, in a terrible situation. That star player, his name is Paul George, and he's been playing historically terrible this season. We kind of spent majority of our offseason money on Paul George to kind of be that player for us when Joel Embiid can't be available, and he's hasn't been up to expectations. Right now he's averaging about 16 points on 42% from the field, 36% from the three-point line. This is a career low I want to say since his rookie season, second season in the league, this is his career low in points. Career. He's also shooting pretty terribly on the efficiency end as well. 42% on 16 points is not good at all. He's shooting less three balls as well. His three ball percentage has went down, lowest it has been since his first year in the league, rookie season, which was at 29.7%. 29.7%. And right now it's at 36.2%. The rest of his other season, it's been at 38, 64, 40, 37, 40, 38, 41, 35. So besides a few seasons, this kind of has been his lower three-point shooting numbers as well. It's also been his lower field goal percentage as well, and lowest in scoring. The guy that we wanted in a Sixers uniform, the guy that was gonna be there when Joel Embiid couldn't be there, he's not there. So the Sixers made a mistake. They made a 4-year contract mistake. This is easily one of the worst contracts in the league at the moment. And we have 4 years left of this. I don't know if we're going to be able to trade Paul George to get something back in return for him that's going to be better than what we have right now. Not sure of it. His contract as well as his play doesn't make him for a good asset for a team to pick up and take that money off our books for us. So we kind of have to wait and see if he can pick it up during the second half of the season. Hopefully, show up in the playoffs, but he hasn't really been historically known for doing that either. And combine that with Joel Embiid's injuries this season, I think the process is over. I don't think Joel Embiid can be the championship level player that we need him to be now or in the future. I think it's over. I think that timeline has kind of passed in the last few seasons, especially after that Ben Simmons run with Ben Simmons and Butler. I think you had Ben Simmons there with Harden and we ain't talking about that. You had that Ben Simmons playoffs where Ben Simmons left the team. Then you got James Harden. There's some good chances with him. He has now moved on, and now you're left with Paul George, has declined tremendously. I think it's over for the Philadelphia 76ers on a championship window, especially with at least with Joel Embiid on the roster. To highlight some stuff out for the Sixers, some stuff they have, unfortunately. Tyrese Maxey, no, he wasn't that star pick either. He wasn't a top lottery pick. He's kind of late in the first round, I believe. And him to kind of turn out to be this all-star caliber player has been a fantastic blessing for the Philadelphia 76ers. They now have a player that maybe be able to be that championship guy for them in the future. So they have a young player that they can build around and utilize the remaining assets to kind of build a team around Tyrese Maxey and go for him as a window for a championship run instead of relying on Joel Embiid and Paul George to kind of be that championship window for you guys. So that's some highlight for them. And also they have Jeremy Kane. At the beginning of the season, he's been balling, especially with Joel Embiid being absent. He was averaging at 23 points, clear cut, the rookie of the year before he got injured for the rest of the season. So I mean, I think they have a backcourt for the future. They have McCain and Maxey, smaller backcourt, similar to what the Cleveland Cavaliers have, but they don't have the defensive front court to kind of make up for that at the moment, especially with the injuries. So gonna be excited to see what they do with that. But they have, guards. They have a backcourt they can kind of build off on, and maybe hopefully be competitive in the near future when they are able to move off of Paul George and Joel Embiid, which is probably not going to be soon, in my opinion. The other thing I wanted to point out was the depth that they acquired this offseason. Gerban Yoseli over from Wembyama's team in France. He's been pretty good as well. He's been a very good option for them. Improved a lot from just his first few games in the league. He's a power forward that works for them, works well with the team, with the roster. So they have a piece that they can maybe trade in the offseason to kind of help replenish this roster once they move off of Joel Embiid and Paul George. In addition to that, I want to shout out to Kelly Oubre, who's been amazing in Philadelphia 76ers uniform since he got traded there a few years back. Had a few injuries as well. Had some unfortunate situations happen to him, things of that nature. But he's been pretty good for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's not the guy that we need to kind of win a championship. The guy that can take us over the hump and push us through the championship window. But he's definitely a guy that has been a solid choice to pick up for them. He's scoring. Let me look it up real quick. Need some water, bro. He gets 14 points. He had a 20-point season 2 years back in Charlotte. With Philadelphia, he's been scoring about 15 points on 45% from the field. So it's been a very solid, spark up shooting player for them. Get some points off the bench or even the starting lineup wherever he is for the night. So shout out to Kelly Oubre. They have another asset that they can trade in the offseason to kind of retool his team as well. Their backcourt, I wasn't super excited for. Their backup backcourt. Right now they have Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, who are old players. They were very good in their prime years, but they're older. They're not able to move their feet as much as they could. They still have that playmaking skill. They still have that shooting skill. Like Eric Gordon does have that, but just being at that age, they naturally decline. And with this roster going for a championship run, this older backcourt is not what you want to utilize in the offseason. That's not what you want to have on your bench, coming off the bench in your offseason run. So they made some mistakes this offseason. I think they should have made some. I don't think they should have made Paul George signing in the first place. I think that he was also an injury-prone older player, and they should have maximized that money to get proper role players to pair with Embiid when he's healthy, and hopefully keep them similar to kind of Paul George, keeping them afloat when he's out. Hopefully these role players combined with Tyrese Maxey are able to kind of keep this team afloat when Joel Embiid's out. I would have loved to see something else for the Philadelphia 76ers this offseason, but that's kind of what we got. So unfortunate for them. Also shout out to Andre Drummond. He's been a very, very solid backup big for the Sixers back then and now. That's another asset that they can move along in the offseason for the kind of retool this team. But again, I'm talking about Andre Drummond, Kelly Oubre, and Yermon Garcelli. Then now you have an older injury-prone Embiid, an older injury-prone Paul George. That's kind of their assets moving into the offseason on how, on player-wise, on what they'll be able to trade to kind of retool this roster around Maxey and Jared McCain. So they're in a really, very, very bad situation. I'm not sure how they can get out of this. At most, with all of that being said, the picks that they have and the players that are on their roster, as far as star talent goes, they might be able to get like a semi all-star player. Not an all-star player, but that second tier below that. That's kind of what I see them getting in return for this kind of type of compensation package. Hopefully, Joel Embiid can get you some more. You know, he's a star player, MVP caliber player when healthy, but he's just never healthy. So I'm not sure how much his value is going to be looked at this offseason, especially with that big contract, $60 million. Kind of have to trade your star player for Joel Embiid. That's not a good case scenario. That's not a good decision that any contending team should make right now. So yes, Sixers are in shambles, like the title says. Not sure how to get out of this. Hopefully, they're able to utilize the remaining assets and players and picks that they have to retool this roster around Maxey and Jared McCain. That has to happen sooner than later. I don't agree with waiting till next season to kind of get his team better. I think it's going to get worse. I don't think Joel Embiid is going to come back stronger than ever. Same thing goes for Paul George. They're just going to get older and worse off. I think you have to move them for what you can get in return. And that's it for me. So thank y'all for watching. Like, subscribe, support any way you want to. Thank y'all so much for watching, man. It's great to have y'all. See y'all next episode, episode 6. Again, it's episode 5. Peace.